Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex here with Cyber Echo, and as promised, I am making you guys a video about my experience with USHIP today, and I've got both positive and negatives. I will spoil alert that the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. So let me kind of, excuse me, do a brief overview of what all took place and how it went and all that kind of stuff. So, this job I placed a bid for $85, and because it was a real short drive. Like, I was moving this motorcycle from Glendale to, I guess you call it Fountain Hills. It seemed more like Scottsdale-ish to me, because it wasn't as far out there as I thought. But when I first made the video, I was pretty nervous. I was worried because, like, yeah, I got insurance, commercial insurance, but I worked in the insurance field, but never commercial, so I didn't really know, I didn't feel comfortable that I had all the adequate coverage in case of something catastrophic happened. So anyways, I booted up the app when it was time to go, emailing back and forth, just, hey, my name's Ronald. I go by Alex, my middle name. But, my name is Ronald, and I'm going to be heading out to you. I got a response pretty quick. Great. I'll see you in a little bit. And so I picked up my girlfriend's truck, put the receiving hitch on, went to U-Haul, rented a trailer. As it turns out, they have corporate accounts too, so I need to see the benefits of that. But, the sun is bright, and I left my sunglasses in her truck. So, that all went pretty good. There was a couple unexpected expenses. I needed to get a wiring harness kit, all that kind of stuff, but it was quick. $14 is fine. So I got there, and then I got to the location. I was under the impression I was picking this up from a dealership, but I was actually picking it up from the, we'll call him the buyer, the seller's house, and the buyer was there, and the buyer was my client. And so they were talking. I got there, I got everything all set up and everything like that. It was a little bit frustrating because they were still kind of like in that haggling stages, and this bike was messed up. This bike was FUBAR, but you can tell it got laid down at some point. But the dad and the kid was buying it. The kid was buying it as his first mode of transportation, and so it was cool. I mean, when 2005 rolled around, my first car was a 1987 Camaro, so no judgment there. And the kid sounded pretty savvy with repairing and stuff like that. So anyways, so I was a little bit frustrated at that point, because I walked up and I was like, hey, my name is Ronald, and then the dad kind of like shushed me a little bit. But I didn't know that they were still dealing with the whole thing, so it made sense. So I got my trailer all loaded up or not loaded, but, I got it all ready to go. And so then we pushed the bike on in, and the father, wanted the engine, of course, that I talked about earlier, where he was offering to pay me on the side. And so we went ahead and loaded that up as well, which, my God, that was heavy, and I have grease on the top of my head from it. So I helped them unload it, and that was heavy. And as a person who's had back surgery, that didn't feel too nice. So that's kind of the downside. The shushing thing, I probably should have waited to announce myself, but I'm loud and proud. So, but then he apologized for doing it, and I didn't even prompt him to, do that. He just, was like, hey, I'm sorry, we were getting some important information about the bike, and, et cetera, et cetera. So, anyways, I loaded up, and then I go like a quarter of a mile to the nearest gas station. They stayed and talked to the guy selling the bike, and I politely bowed my way out and said, I'm going to have to drive 50 miles or less per hour, so you guys are going to probably beat me. And there's two of you in a carpool lane and me on not. So then I headed out. I took a bunch of pictures. Guys, if you are going to get into this business, it doesn't matter how trustworthy the people are, or, if it looks like they have money, whatever, you take pictures. Cover your butt. Like, I cannot overstate how important it is to take pictures. I've never been screwed, but I'm not going to be either. So, take pictures. And besides that, I wanted to check the load, make sure everything was fastened good. I'm going to put a link in the description down below of the YouTuber that I was watching about tips, tips on how to go ahead and safely secure your load, and, all that kind of stuff. So, afterwards, I pulled up to like the last mile of where the thing was going to be delivered. And then I just checked the load, and I wanted to do that purposefully, just in case if anything looked kind of like banged around, or, shifted or anything like that. I wanted to make sure that the customers, I'm going to say something and then I'm going to explain, got the illusion that I gave it TLC. Now, when I say the illusion, I mean I babied that thing, and nothing had happened or anything like that. What I mean by illusion is it's exactly, the customer, it doesn't matter what really happened, it matters how they perceive it. And if nothing had happened, but the bike looks shifted and like not much attention to detail was given, then, they're not going to use you. They might rate you less than they normally would, etc., etc. So, just stop and make sure everything's good. So, after I stopped, I helped them unload, and I got to talk to them for a little bit. They were very fun people, and, interesting to talk to. We swapped stories about, back when I used to ride dirt bikes, my championship days, which are long behind me. But they always make for good stories. And then the son tried to give me the money for moving the engine, which I very, very politely declined, and instead said, I really appreciate that. And the father said, we don't work for USHIP or, anything like that. We just, we appreciate you helping me out. And I was like, well, I really appreciate it. I don't know what USHIP's stance on the whole thing is. And I just don't, I don't feel comfortable taking it. And what I did say, though, is if you guys feel like you want to help me out and you feel like I earned it, rating me 5 stars means a whole lot to me. Because if you don't have those 5 stars, it hurts you for putting bids. People can reject you if, there's negative feedback. So, I sincerely meant that. Like, hey, $100 would be pretty cool. But I don't know if it's against USHIP's policy. It feels like it would be. So why do that to myself? Why put and chances are nothing would have happened or anything like that. I'm just not willing to chance it over $100. Now, as far as the pay goes, when I did walk away, and I started walking away, and I'm like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. In the app, you're hitting the buttons showing, hey, I've arrived, and, everything's delivered, blah, 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 blah. So I walked away, and then I realized, oh man, I need the payment code from him. Because that's how you get paid. Is upon delivery, you get your payment. Now, I haven't gone home yet, so I haven't checked to see if it already hit my account. I'll make a video separate on that, and the payment system, kind of more of a high level. But, yeah, no, it worked out really well. The only thing that I can honestly say is, sorry, I'm itchy from grease. The only thing I can say is don't forget the payment code. I mean, I'm sure if I called USHIP's customer service number, that all could have been worked out and fixed. But it would have delayed money. And, I love this job. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I can't say, though, I would do it for free. So, don't forget that payment code. Because that would suck. So, yeah, I mean, experience. Let's see. If I was going to do 10 stars, I like 10 instead of 5 because it leaves more room. I would honestly give it a 9.9. And the only reason why I wouldn't give it a 10 is because there were things that I didn't really expect, and it's not really explained to you. The one thing about USHIP is you are completely on your own. There's no one. I mean, there's YouTube channels, but you're not likely to figure that all out by yourself. So, like, in the future, I think I'll bring a dolly with me, because that engine would have been so much easier on a dolly. And so, yeah, I mean, the only reason why it's not a 10 is because of stuff on my end, but it is stuff that, matters. So, yeah, I have no doubt that it's going to be another app that I use. And it's funny, like a year ago, I was like, no, just use one app for everything. But I was so wrong about that. And I am a big enough man to admit it. So, guys, with having said that, I just pulled up into my house. I'm tired. I need a shower. And I'm going to jump in my pool. So, I will see you all later. Take care. Stay safe.